A few years ago, like many professional associations, the SMA undertook to work on issues related to equity, diversity, and inclusion. The SMA's board of directors struck an EDI committee, and a physician advocate has also been hired to lead this important work. EDI issues are often at the root of wellness issues and can affect patient care as well. Our next presentation is an update on the SMA's work on EDI and will be given by Dr. Namdi Nambuka, the SMA's physician advocate for EDI. Please help me navigate Dr. Duka to the stage safely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everybody, fellow RA delegates and colleagues, friends of the SMA. I'd like to thank you for the audience this afternoon, and thanks so much, Tracy and Jessica, for the update. I'm very privileged to provide a quick update on the EDI portfolio. It's just a land acknowledgement, and I'd like to thank Bonnie for acknowledging the land that which we live, play, and work. Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Bonnie. So the committee comprised of the fellows that you see on the screen here, and a lot of work have been done, and I don't want to minimize the work that this committee have done in terms of the number of times they've met, ably led by the chair, Dr. Carla Holinathi, with strategic direction from the board of the SMA and of course from the SMA senior leadership. We've undertaken a very strategic approach to take an approach that is physician-led, member-centered in guiding the work that we do as a committee, and I really want to acknowledge that whole work. And of course, with the team at the SMA that you see there at the bottom of the screen, in terms of the faces that have been trying to support and continues to support the effort of the committee in accomplishing her mandate. So between the last time the RA met and now, we've been able to implement 4 online sessions, which some of you in the room here had the privilege to attend. That was between September 2022 and January 2023. That session was led by no one else but Dr. Violet Castro from the Division of Social Accountability at the College of Medicine. She had a lot of expertise that she brought to the table and also brought a very good platform to provoke some conversations around EDI. So we're really very honored for that support from the College of Medicine. We did have 4 main sessions, which you can see on your screen, and we also do have them uploaded on the SMA website for those that didn't have the opportunity to participate in those sessions. So please feel free to visit the website, as you can see there, and provide any feedback that you have, particularly around what you think similar sessions could look like around topics of interest and areas that the committee could help shape the work going forward. So this screen just highlights some of the participants that attended. We had great participation in the very first session, about 62 participants, including the SMA support staff as well. But over time, we experienced some decreased participation, but we didn't know why. Of course, these particular sessions were well advertised, but we felt that other competing priorities. But we just want to encourage our physician colleagues to please take advantage of some of these sessions because they are really rich and they provide some platform for conversations to occur. And of course, we know that EDI has linkage to physician wellness. So the more you participate, the more we begin to learn how can we make the environment more collegial and have a better outcome for our practices in terms of work-life balance. So the last session that was held in January of 2023 had about 28 participants, but there are lots of room for improvement. So part of the work that the committee have also done in collaboration with the team here within the SMA office is to develop a complaints or reporting tools. We do know that even prior to now, there have been work done in terms of receiving complaints from physician colleagues to the SMA. But what we've done currently is to try to be a little bit more strategic to provide some tools to capture the complaints or reporting. And when we use the term reporting, we're referring to individuals who may not be directly affected but are bystanders of those who have witnessed a racism or discrimination going on, and they can then flag that for the SMA. So we want to collate all of those information, and that will help us also to provide some number or data to guide what we do, and to also do some kind of evaluation to direct the work that we do accordingly. So the forms will be available online once it is completed. So the SMA Comms team is doing a lot of work around that. We also have created pathways to show you what happens when the SMA office receives a complaint or a report. Very, very clearly what happens, so that you know from start to finish every outcome. Were we able to deal with that? For what timelines? Were we able to address the concern, or did we refer to elsewhere for the member to receive the appropriate support? So we want to capture all of those because we want to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our colleagues when it comes to EDI. So the next slide shows a quick screenshot on some of those tools. So the very first one on the left side of the screen shows how the complaint or reporting form looks like. So basically capturing very basic information that we require from the individual, either complaining or reporting an incident. Those basic information will enable us be able to provide the most appropriate support for the individual in terms of resolving any existing conflict to the best of the team's ability. And on the right side of your screen, you're looking at some kind of guide to enable individuals know what amount of information is required and how can they better provide some information based on those forms and what is needed and what is not. So again, these tools are still open to improvement. So we really want members to provide feedback when these forms become available, and we can also tweak those changes. So this screen shows the flowcharts of what happens at the time when a complaint is received. On the left side, how data is captured and how we resolve the issues, either if it meets the criteria for an EDI issue, then we deal with it as well. If it does not meet the criteria as an EDI matter, then we refer to the appropriate program within the SMA as well. On the right side also looks at the flowchart for reporting by a third party or by a bystander who witnessed any issues around EDI. So every form that is submitted will be screened for appropriateness and referred to the relevant department as much as possible. Of course, we'll do this work in collaboration with other stakeholders, including the College of Physicians and Surgeons that have a little bit more leverage in terms of addressing these issues from a practice and legal perspective, and also the College of Medicine, postgraduate and undergraduate medical college, and of course the Student Affairs Department of the university. So we hope to leverage all these particular resources to ensure that we address members' concern as much as possible. In terms of what is upcoming, we are planning a one-day in-person workshop, or rather conference on EDI in September this year. So we really look forward to members attending the conference, and please save the date. I know that the SMA Comms team have sent out save the date information. We do recognize that this date might not work for some, but the date was chosen based on availability of our speakers coming from in and out of province. We know that the date might have some conflict with other existing programs, but in terms of future processes, we will try to touch base with key stakeholders to ensure that there are no major conflicts in terms of date. And we do apologize in advance if the current situation may not favor some other members to attend the conference. But I want to be very appreciative of our sponsors, the Scotiabank Affinity, for giving us the opportunity to host this conference, and we're looking forward to the plenary sessions and the workshop that has been designed for this particular conference. So we hope that as we target 100 physicians, that we will exceed those numbers when the registration portal opens. We have confirmed speakers, as you see on your screen, so from Ontario, Saskatchewan, as well as Alberta. So it will be a very good mix. The learning objectives, we've received them, so we'll make them available to yourselves once the registration portal is open, so you can plan ahead of time which sessions to attend, particularly for the parallel sessions that will be coming up. Other ongoing work, the SMA EDI committee have also worked very, very collaboratively with the Equity and Bias Committee of the College of Physicians and Surgeons. Very, very excellent work on EDI. And currently we are working to provide you with a survey that will really look at, you know, where does racism actually exist? What else can be done from your own perspective, just to guide the work of both SMA and CPSS on this particular file. And we are hoping that the draft survey, which is currently being reviewed by both organizations, will be live in about June 1st. It will be on for about 3 weeks, and please, we encourage members to respond to the survey within the timelines, because that will really guide our interventions. We don't want to do this work blindly, but we want to work with you, want to get some strategic direction in terms of developing adequate interventions tailored to the needs of our members. So we really want to commend the SMA and the CPSS committees for the joint collaboration on this. After the analysis, we hope that the results for the survey will be available sometime in the fall. There has been work also going on between the EDI committee and the legislative and policy committee of the SMA, just to look at where are the synergies, where are the points of collaboration that we could, you know, work with each other to leverage each other's expertise. So we've had our initial meeting with representatives from the LPC, and there is a lot of interest in trying to work together in the future to synergize our efforts. So we look forward to more opportunities to collaborate. The Division of Social Accountability at the College of Medicine is also leading the work on developing the anti-racism curriculum for Saskatchewan physicians. It's really an exciting work that is ongoing. The committee is currently at its second module development, so the SMA is also part of that work, also providing some direction and support to ensure that the curriculum is fit and that our physicians will benefit from that work. So please watch out for more correspondence on that. There have been some collaboration as well with the Compass, which most of you know is a newly launched initiative to support new physicians, and especially those that have been in the system within the first 5 years of practice. So the SMA Day committee is also plugged into that particular process to provide support as much as possible from a member-based perspective. We've been also connected with the CIPA Advisory Council, and the idea here is also provide support from the member perspective on how our CIPA-based physicians can be well supported in the place that they do business, and for us to ensure that that is not just retention, but that is not just recruitment, but also retention, which is really the bigger part of the pie. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
I think we have some time for any questions or discussion that anybody has from the audience. And if I don't see any, then I want to give a final thank you to this group, and thank you for all the work. I do have one. Donna, please. Microphone number 1, please.
I'm fairly loud. Okay, really loud now. Dawn Lettingham, Lab Medicine, Regina. I'm just wondering, the conference sounds great, but one thing, and I know engagement and FaceTime is important, but it is sometimes hard, especially in a big province with small groups to travel. Will there be any online options for your conference in September?
Thank you for the question. Currently, we don't have the online option. We're hoping that this will be an in-person conference, particularly for the fact that we will have a workshop component that will be a hands-on. So we really want to encourage in-person participation to maximize the benefit and meet the learning objectives of the conference. But if there's any opportunity, we could still see ways to make an online component. But for now, it's in person.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so for those who didn't hear that, the plenary and the keynote will be recorded, and I know that there's probably lots of departments that are represented that have their own EDI, running their own EDI program, that I think you would welcome some alignment and participation from that as well, too. That would be great. Great. Okay, thank you so much then for your hard work.